Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Neuralink presentation. This is an update for the progress of the Neuralink team. It's been an incredible amount of progress. So those are neurons firing. It's funny to think that me talking right now is a bunch of neurons firing that then result in speech that you hear and cause neurons to fire in your brain. Part of this presentation is about demystifying the brain. It is a remarkable organ. I mean, we are the brain, basically. You can get a heart transplant, you can get a kidney transplant, but I don't know anyone who's gotten a brain transplant. And your experiences are these neurons firing with trillions of synapses that somehow lead to conscious comprehension of the world. This is something that we have only begun to understand. We're really just barely at the beginning of understanding of what is the nature of consciousness. Along the way, we're going to solve a lot of brain issues where the brains get injured or damaged in some way or didn't develop in quite the right way. There's a lot of brain and spine injuries that we'll solve along the way. And I do want to emphasize that this is all going to happen quite slowly, meaning you'll see it coming. Sometimes people think that suddenly there will be vast numbers of Neuralinks all over the place. This is not going to be sudden. You'll be able to watch it happen, over the course of several years. And we go through exhaustive regulatory approvals. So this is not something that we're just doing, by ourselves without government oversight. We work closely with the regulators every step of the way. We're very cautious with the Neuralinks in humans. That's the reason we're not moving faster than we are, is because we're taking great care with each individual to make sure we never miss. And so far we haven't, and I hope that continues into the future. Every single one of our implants in humans is working, and working quite well. So what we're creating here with a Neuralink device is a generalized input-output technology for the brain. So it's how do you get information into or out of the brain, and do so in a way that does not damage the brain or cause any negative side effects. So it's a very hard problem. Generally, the reactions I've seen to this range from "it's impossible" to "it's already been done before." Those people should meet, actually. The reality is that there actually have been limited brain-to-computer interfaces for several decades on a very basic basis. What we're doing with Neuralink is dramatically increasing the bandwidth. What we're talking about here is going from maybe 1 bit per second to ultimately megabits and then gigabits per second. And the ability to do consensual telepathy. We take a concept in our mind and we compress that into a small number of symbols. So when you're trying to communicate with somebody else, you're actually trying to model their mind state. Your ability to communicate is very limited by how fast you can talk and how fast you can type. And what we're talking about is unlocking that potential. So we're starting off with reducing human suffering, or addressing issues that people have, say if they've been in an accident or they have some neural disease that's degenerative, so they're losing capability to move their body, or some kind of injury, essentially. So our first product is called telepathy, and that enables someone who has lost the ability to command their body to be able to communicate with a computer and move the mouse and actually operate a computer with roughly the same dexterity, ultimately much more dexterity than a human with working hands. Then our next product is blind sight, which will enable those who have total loss of vision, including if they've lost their eyes or the optic nerve, or maybe have never seen, or even blind from birth, to be able to see again. Initially low resolution, but ultimately very high resolution, and then in multiple wavelengths. So you could be like Geordi LaForge in Star Trek, and you can see in radar, you can see in infrared, ultraviolet, superhuman capabilities. Cybernetic enhancement, essentially. Presentation is mostly about is attracting smart humans to come and work with us on this problem.
Hey everyone, my name is DJ, and as Elon mentioned, we're standing in the middle of our robot space. We have a stage set up, but this is actually where some of the next generation, most advanced surgical robots are being built. So to start off, 2 years ago when we did our previous fundraising round, we outlined this path and timeline to first human. We currently have a clinical trials in the US for a product that we call telepathy, which allows users to control phone or computer purely with their thoughts. And you're going to see how we do this and what the impact that this has had. And not only have we launched this clinical trial, but as of today, we have not just one, but 7 participants. And we also have an approval to launch this trial in Canada, UK, and the UAE. I wanted to quickly share a video with you guys of when our first 5 participants met each other for the first time. So here you go.
All right, we have everyone together.
What's up, guys?
Thanks, everybody, for joining. Definitely want to introduce all of you.
Yeah, I'm Nolan, aka P1.
My name's Alex. I am the second participant in the Neuralink study.
I am Brad Smith, the ALS cyborg P3.
My name is Mike, G4, have ALS like Brad does.
Yeah, I'm RJ. I'm P5. And I guess I'm kind of the newest one to the team here. So, yeah, appreciate it, Nolan. Trailblazer. Somebody's got to go first, man. That was you. Appreciate that.
What's been your favorite thing you've been able to do with the Neuralink so far?
I've just had a good time being able to use it as I travel, flying and drawing a little mustache on a cat. Had a lot of fun doing that. I mean, I've just had a good time playing around with it. Oh, you know what? I do know what my favorite BCI feature is. Probably not a feature, but I love WebGrid more than I love anything in my life, probably.
Has to be Fusion 360. Being able to design parts. Design the hat logo with the BCI. Well, cool. With the BCI, I wrote code to drive the plane with the quad stick.
The best thing I like about Neuralink is being able to continue to provide for my family and continue working.
I think my favorite thing is probably being able to turn on my TV. Yeah, like the first time in 2.5 years, I was able to do that. So it's a pretty sweet move. I like shooting zombies. That's kind of nice.
Now, one of the major figure merits that we have is to keep track of monthly hours of independent BCI use. Effectively, are they using the BCI? And not at the clinic, but at their home. And what we have noticed, and this is a plot of all of the different participants, first 5 participants, and their usage per month over the course of the last year and a half. And we're averaging around 50 hours a week of usage, and in some cases, peak usage of more than 100 hours a week, which is pretty much every waking moment. Not only that, we've also accelerated our implantation cadence as we've amassed evidence of both clinical safety as well as value to our participants. So to date, we have 4 spinal cord injury participants as well as 3 ALS participants, with the last 2 surgeries happening within 1 week of each other. Our end goal is to really build a whole brain interface. And what do we mean by whole brain interface? We mean being able to listen to neurons everywhere, be able to write information to neurons anywhere, be able to have that fast data wireless transfer to enable that high bandwidth connection from our biological brain to the external machines, and be able to do all of this with fully automated surgery, as well as enable 24 hours of usage. We're really working on 3 major product types. Elon mentioned earlier that our goal is to build a generalized input-output platform and technology to the brain. We're starting out with helping people with movement disorders, either through where they lost the mind-body connection, either through a spinal cord injury, ALS, or stroke, be able to regain some of that digital as well as physical independence through a product that we're building called Telepathy. And this is our opportunities to build a high channel read and output device. On the input side of things, opportunities for us to help people that have lost the ability to see, be able to regain that sight again through a product that we're calling Blind Sight. And last but not least, be able to also help people that are suffering from neurological debilitating dysregulation or psychiatric conditions or neuropathic pain by inserting our electrodes in reaching any brain regions to be able to insert them not just on the cortical layer, but into the sulci as well as deeper parts of the brain, the so-called limbic system, to really enable better opportunities to just regain some of that independence. Our North Star metrics is, one, increasing the number of neurons that we can interface with, and second, to expand to many diverse areas, any parts of the brain, starting with microfabrication or lithography to change the way in which we can actually increase the number of neurons that we can see from a single channel, and also doing mixed signal chip design to actually increase the physical channel count, to increase more neurons that we can interface to sort of allow more information from the brain to the outside world. So now, just to step you through what the product evolution is going to look like in the next 3 years, today what we have is 1,000 electrodes in the motor cortex, the small part of the brain that you see in this animation called the hand knob area, that allows participants control computer cursors as well as gaming consoles. Next quarter, we're planning to implant in the speech cortex to directly decode attentive words from brain signals to speech. And in 2026, not only are we going to triple the number of electrodes from 1,000 to 3,000 for more capabilities, we're planning to have our first blind-side participant to enable navigation. And in 2027, we're going to continue increasing channel counts, probably another triple, so 10,000 channels, and also enable, for the first time, multiple implants. So not just one in motor cortex, speech cortex, or visual cortex, but all of the above. And finally, in 2028, our goal is to get to more than 25,000 channels per implant, have multiple of these, have ability to access any part of the brain for psychiatric conditions, pain, dysregulation, and also start to demonstrate what it would be like to actually integrate with AI. I'd like to welcome Sahej to the stage.
And I'm going to be talking about two things today. I'm about to play a video of our first user. His name is Nolan, if you remember from DJ Section. And what Nolan is doing is he's looking at a normal off-the-shelf MacBook Pro. And with his Neuralink device, as you're going to see, he's going to be able to control the cursor simply with his mind, no eye tracking, no other sensors. And what's special about this particular moment is this is the first time someone is using a Neuralink device to fully control their cursor. And I'm about to show you the clip on day one, Nolan breaking the BCI world record.
Whoa!
He just beat the world record.
Yeah, 4.6. Oh shit. Yeah. Sorry. Congrats.
Oh, well done, man. Well done. Wait, what I missed? He's a new world record holder.
Another really fun thing you could do with the Neuralink device outside of controlling a computer cursor is you could actually plug it in through USB through a lot of different devices. And here we actually have Nolan playing Mario Kart. Now, what's special about this particular clip is Nolan is not the only cyborg playing Mario Kart in this clip. We actually have a whole community of users, as mentioned earlier, and this is literally 5 of our first users of Neuralink playing Mario Kart together over call. This is Alex and RJ playing Call of Duty. Here's Alex shooting another person.
Right. Oh, dear God.
Oh, that was bad.
I know it, dude, and I want him to freaking shoot you won't when I do.
RJ, Alex got you.
I know, dude. Shot me in the face.
Going back to Nolan for a second, where he talks, we simply just asked him randomly during a day how he enjoys using the BCI.
I work basically all day from when I wake up. I'm trying to wake up at like 6 or 7 a.m. and I'll do work until session. I'll do session, and then I'll work until, 11, 12 p.m. or 12 a.m.
Wow.
I'm doing, I'm learning my languages. I'm learning my math. I'm like relearning all of my math. I am writing. I am doing a class that I signed up for. And I wanted to point out that this is not something I would be able to do without the Neuralink.
And Brad also has ALS, and what separates him from our other users is he's actually nonverbal, so he can't speak.
You guys ready? No, I'm still sticking it. Okay. I am absolutely doing more with Neuralink than I was doing with eye gaze. I have been a Batman for a long time, but I go outside now. Going outside has been a huge blessing for me. And I can control the computer with telepathy.
Dad's watching. Look, he's watching on the camera. Did he lose one of the arms?
The last user I want to talk about is Alex. You've seen some clips of him earlier. What's special about Alex to me is he's a fellow left-handed guy who writes in cursive all the time. And what he mentioned is since a spinal cord injury from like 3-4 years ago, he's been unable to just like draw or write. And he always brags about how good his handwriting was. So we actually got to put it to the test. We gave him a robotic arm. And I think this is the first time he tried using the robotic arm to write anything. And this is a sped up version of writing at the convoy trial and drawing something. And you're about to see him and his uncle playing a game.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. That was scissors. Bullshit.
We're actually actively working on giving Alex an Optimus hand so that he could actually control it in his real life.
Now, obviously, another thing that could be done also is like for people that have, say, lost a limb, lost an arm or a leg or something like that, then we think in the future we'll be able to attach an Optimus arm or legs. And then I think another thing that will be possible, I think is very likely in the future, is to be able to bridge the where the damaged neurons are. So you can take the signal from the brain and transmit that signal past where the neurons are damaged or strained to the rest of the body. So you could reanimate the body.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nir. There's another brain area that's involved in execution of speech. And with the same device, with the same machine learning model architecture, the same software pipeline, the same surgical robot, we can have a new application. And we can do it very quickly. It's really interesting that if we can decode someone's intention to speak silently, a non-vocal communication, we can use that to revolutionize the way we interact with computers, with technology, and with information. We can now build an interface with AI that you will be able to retrieve information, will be able to store our thoughts anywhere, anytime, privately and silently. Again, because we build a fundamental technology, a platform, and we do everything in-house. We own the entire stack from neurons to pixels on the user's computer. Now I'll pass it to Ruz to talk about UI for BCI.
Each spike that our implant detects goes on a fairly remarkable journey to ultimately form a pixel on a participant's display. And that experience starts with, of course, unboxing. The very first time that a participant pairs to and meets their implant, this invisible part of their body, and sees their own spikes materialize across the display. From there, they'll go into body mapping, and they'll take that into calibration, iteratively refining their control as they go throughout this process. And our control interfaces is where the OS integration that we do really shines. So for familiar interactions like scrolling, we can surface an indicator over the scrollable parts of the display. There are also unique interactions that we need to solve for in this space. For example, when a participant is watching a movie or just talking to somebody next to them, the brain is very active still, and that activity can actually induce motion in the cursor, distracting them from that moment. And those control interfaces, of course, extend to typing. We have a great software keyboard that does everything you'd expect it to.
Hi, everyone. I'm Harrison, an ML engineer here at Neuralink. To my left here, you can see RJ completing his first ever cursor calibration.
Hey, everyone. My name is Joey. Blind Sight is our project to build a visual prosthesis to help the blind see again. Users would wear a pair of glasses with an embedded camera and receive an implant in their visual cortex. Scenes from the environment are recorded by the camera and processed into patterns of stimulation delivered to the brain, causing visual perception and restoring functionality. Our threads are able to access these deeper structures, providing the possibility of restoring vision over a functionally useful visual field. So the N1 implant has had experimental stimulation capabilities for quite some time, but our new S2 chip is designed from the ground up for stimulation. It provides over 1,600 channels of electrical stimulation, high dynamic range recording capabilities, and a wide range of microstimulation currents and voltages. Now, how can we calibrate our implant for blind sight? So here's one way. We stimulate on the array, picking, say, 3 different channels. The user perceives something, say 3 spots of light, somewhere in their visual field, and points at them. We track their arm and eye movements and repeat this process for each of the channels on the array. And here's what a simulated example of a blind sight vision could look like after calibration. So we worked with Siemens to get some of the best scanners on Earth. We built out our imaging core from scratch in the past year.
My name's John, and I lead the robot mechanical team. This is our current R1 robot. It was used to implant the first 7 participants. This robot works really well, but it has a few flaws, one of which is the cycle time is rather slow. So to insert each thread, it takes, in a best case scenario, 17 seconds. So let me introduce our next generation robot, which is right here. Through rethinking the way that we hold the implant in front of the robot by holding it directly in front on the robot head, we're able to achieve an 11 times cycle time improvement. So each thread takes 1.5 seconds.
Hi, I'm Julian. I'm one of the leads on the implant team. It is the first time that we're able to add a completely new mode of data transfer into and out of the brain. This next set of images are the wireless implants. And there was a complete evolution that we went through to add the battery, the antenna, the radio, and to make it actually fully implantable. Once it's implanted, it's completely invisible. It's very compact, it's modular, and it's a general platform that you can use in many places in the brain. So what's next? We're going to be increasing our manufacturing so that we don't just produce, a small number of implants per year, but thousands and then eventually millions of implants per year.
So I guess just to kind of close out and to recap, today, Neuralink is working reliably and has already changed the lives of 7 participants and making a real impact. And our next milestone is to go to market and enable scaling of this technology to thousands of people, and as well as expand functionalities beyond just the movement to enable sophisticated robotic arm control, speech, vision, give sight back, and even getting to the speed of thought.
Super hard problem, and we'd like to have you come join and help us solve it. Thank you.